Hello and welcome. Thank you for taking this time out of your Saturday night to join Danny and I. We will most likely be doing Spirit Box or Chitty Chat or both. If Danny can't join me due to his health, then we may have another special guest on, or you guys will have to listen to me talk. I hope you guys enjoy the show. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. Please leave a like on this video. And while you're waiting, if you would be so kind to share this video out, Danny and I would greatly appreciate it. Sit back, enjoy the show.
Hi, everybody. How are you guys? I hope you're all well. Danny's here with me tonight, too. And we have an interesting topic. Um, hey, Kelly. Long time no see. I hope you're well. And hello to Kieran and Nina and Patrazi and Robert and Kimmy. Who else we got here? I think Roxanne, who was number one. Thank you, sweetheart. So, okay. So, and there's Danny. Hi.
Hey, everybody.
We're so tiny. Let's see if we can make ourselves just a little bigger. Um, Not that it matters too much, but okay. There we go. We're a little bigger. we're
Hi,
just a tiny touchy bigger now. Okay.
tiny bit bigger.
I'm doing okay, dealing with a lot of pain. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, pain sucks. I've been going through it for a while now, and there we go.
Hello,
So,
everybody.
yeah, so today we want to talk about like what uh people describe as like glitches in the matrix, but some kind of like time slips and other unexplainable things, whether it's paranormal or something that we really can't explain. Like so that's what we're going to talk about today. um So, yeah, I hope that you guys are into that. And of course, if you have any stories about that, hi, Fancy.
Hi,
Um,
Kim.
we'll talk
Hey,
about
Fancy.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what I figured we'd do is I'll read one story from the internet, something that happened to a woman recently. And then we'll tell some of our stories. We'll get some of your stories and see how that goes. I have a lot of stories from the internet. Um, so we'll start off with this one, which is this young lady says, my mother did all her OBGYN appointments with a doctor downtown in Austin, Texas. He was on the fifth floor of a hospital building and had a longtime nurse receptionist named Allison. I remember attending her appointments when I was little. My mother would make a game out of finding the office and being in the waiting room, which was very colorful and decorated like a forest scene, something you really can't forget. Allison was a super sweet woman who was half babysitter for the kids. She would read books, give us coloring books, listen to our dreadful knock knock jokes. We refer to her as Allison Wonderland. Anyway, years down the road, I got married, got pregnant, and I was living back in Austin, and so was my mother. I was searching for an OB since I had moved back there only recently. My mother suggested that we go see the doctor. who at the time was only in his early 30s, so she figured he'd still be around. Um, well, I couldn't find his name in the hospital directory, so I figured we'd just swing by the office and check. My mother happened to be in town too with me, and we both went. We joked about it being so familiar. As we reached the stairs, we ran into a problem. There was no fifth floor in this building. So we just figured, oh, odd, we must have misremembered it and it's on the fourth floor. So, nope, we went through the whole fourth floor and then we thought, is it the wrong building? But we parked in our normal spot and that was definitely the building. Um, so we started looking more into it. Turns out, apparently, the doctor never existed. Um, my mother and my brother and I are the only ones who remember Allison in Wonderland and the doctor. We asked around, including the hospital staff. We even looked up our birth certificates for he was the one who my mother had when she given birth. And on the birth certificates, it just says lists as the doctor as attending physician. So I realize now one of my fondest childhood memories is not real, but is shared with my brother and my mother. So yeah. So no record of this guy, looked everywhere. Nobody, it's not like he stopped practicing or something like that. The office doesn't even exist. Doesn't exist on her birth certificate. So super strange. So wondering if this has ever happened to any of you guys. And let me go to YouTube here so I can see what you guys are saying. Hi, Jackie. Because can't see the YouTube when I'm reading the other thing. Okay. 17, are you here? Thank you guys so much. Don't forget that like button. Hi, Susie.
And Fancy and Robert and Kim and Nina, Susie.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll
Okay.
tell you, I'll tell you one of the times happened to me, which was weird.
Yeah,
But I always think it's just a timeline or a shift that you go on. Eh? Like me and my buddy decided we're gonna go to the mall, do some junk at the mall. This is years ago, eh? So we go up to the mall. We end up being there a couple hours longer than I thought we were gonna be, and I got hungry. So I says, you know what, I'm gonna go to the bank because I'm hungry. So my buddy says, all right. So we go into the bank. I go into the line, get up to the till. I said to the lady, and this was a long time ago. This was years ago. So I says to the lady, I says, how much money I got in this account? And she says, oh, $25. I says, okay, cool. I'll take out $20. Okay, she says. So she gives me $20. I sign for it. And she gives me the receipt minus $20, whatever. No big deal. So we go and we had, I had what was called a Big Z burger, which is a double patty with bacon and cheese and fries and a gravy and a strawberry milkshake. He had something. I think he had the same thing, but a chocolate milkshake. Anyway, we had our meal and everything else, and we goofed off the rest of the day, and then we went home. Right. So the next day, he says, "Hey, you want to go back to the mall?" And I said, "Well, you just don't worry, I'll buy if we stay too long." I said, "Yeah, okay." And then, why you gotta go to the mall for? He said, "Oh, I'll get some art supplies." I said, "Okay, fine, let's go." So we went up to the mall again. Of course, found the art supplies, everything else. And we're walking around and checking out all the stores. And he says, "You know what?" He says, "I'm going to bank get some money so we can go for somebody." I said, "Okay, I'll check my account while I'm there too." So I go into the bank and I check my account. I don't know why, but I thought, well, I still got $5 in there anyway. So I go to the accountant. I says to the lady, "How much money in my account?" She says, $25. That's $25. Are you sure? She says, yeah. I says, well, I was here yesterday. I took out 20 bucks. There's only be $5 in there. And she punched up the little computer thingy and she looked at the card and she says, no, she says, you haven't been here for over a week and a half. There's $25 in your account. So I says, are you sure? And she says, the bank doesn't make mistakes. That's what she told me. I said, oh yeah. Says, you got $25. I says, now I wasn't here yesterday. She said, no. I said, I didn't withdraw $20 yesterday. She says, no. I says, well, then I must have dreamt it. I'll take $20 now, you know. Oh yeah, and no problem. Got the 20 bucks, right? And I go out in the hallway and I'm waiting for my buddy to come on. My buddy comes on. I says, didn't I go to the bank yesterday? And he says, yeah. He says, I was standing right beside you. I says, and what'd I do at the bank? You asked the lady how much money you have. I said, do you remember what she said? She says, yeah, she's kind of loud. She said you had 25 bucks, being very sarcastic. That's all. I says, and what did I say? He said, well, then give me 20. I said, so I took 20 bucks. So he says, well, yeah. He says, you bought supper yesterday. I'm buying supper today. I said, so you're 100% sure? He says, oh, yeah. He says, I was standing right there. I says, that's cool because I just went in there and they said I wasn't there yesterday, called me a liar, basically, and said I still had $25. He goes, holy crap, what'd you do? I said, I took out 20 bucks. What the hell do you think I'm going to do?
Yeah.
He starts laughing. We start walking away. Eh? And I says, well, I says, the guy on the other side of this timeline, or if we happen to cross planes or whatever, he's going to be pissed because he's owed 20 bucks, but I'm happy, you know.
That's
Anyway, so, so that's what happened that time. And I'm like, okay, you're right, lady. I wasn't here yesterday. Give me 20 bucks then, you know.
that's
So that's,
right.
whateve you say, you know. Hmm.
Hi, Kevin. Um, okay, and Petrazi says, I remember someone from childhood. I can even remember the face, but later in life, I was told that no such person existed around us at the time. I figured it was my child imagination. But now, see, that could be paranormal because you could have had an imaginary friend that was very real to you, but not real to anyone else, right?
Gonna be
Now,
most, yeah.
yeah, but now that's where the next story comes in. Thank you for being a member, Petrazi. And if anybody else wants to be a member, it's not that expensive. Um,
Remember, guys, if you're talking to me, please put it in caps so I can see it.
yeah. So I'm going to tell you this next story. And this to me is not like a glitch in the matrix. It's more to me like paranormal. But people are more apt to believe that in like timelines and stuff than they are the paranormal, which just makes me laugh. Anyway, um, you know, so let's read this story. Um, that was my friend because I texted her something and now she got back to me. Anyway, here we are. When I was little, my parents had a painting of a soldier in uniform. I could see it from my bedroom door when it was cracked open. Several times I saw the man in the painting move his head and look at me. The scariest experience was after I begged my parents to get rid of the painting, my dad just calmed me down and said, that the painting itself, um, it was just my imagination that it was moving. And you have to calm down. And I started to fall back asleep, but I just kept feeling like I was being watched. When I opened my eyes, and I have never forgotten this, the soldier turned his head. This is the soldier in the painting, turned his head and smiled at me. The next day, my dad threw the painting away. Years later, my dad told me he had heard me moving around in my bed and went to look down the hall to see if he was going to have to come back and calm me down. And as he did that, he saw The man in the painting turned his head and smiled, and that's why the next day he threw it out. So, see, to me, that's more paranormal than not a glitch in the matrix kind of thing. Um,
Two ways about it. And he's
yeah.
tired. There's my buddy tired.
Hi, tired. Robert was asking about you. So, yeah. So, see, like something like that, or seeing people that aren't there. I mean, Danny has seen spirits since he was 5, thinking they were all regular people, and but nobody else could see them. So that makes sense that that's more paranormal than a time shift or a glitch or any of that. Well, I'm glad you had a good nap. um so yeah, so Danny told one of his stories, so I'll tell one of mine. And the reason why my friend texted me, because I texted her something, but she said her mother was busy, so she couldn't ask right now, because I was just so curious. The other day, my friend and I were talking. I've known this friend. We're 6 months apart. We used to live around the corner, both of us. She still lives in the same place around the corner. Um, so she's still in the same place. Anyway, um, so when we were younger, now to me we were about 4 or 5. Um, in my head, because just the way everything happened, I would think that would be about the age we were. But when we were younger and we were playing, um, she got her head stuck in the fence because she said to me, I can put my head in the fence and take it out. So, of course, I just looked at her and said, I don't think that's a good idea because I hate those. I don't put my hands or my head in any kind of place still to this day. Um, so she stuck her head in the fence, and guess what? She couldn't get her head out of the fence. So I was like, oh my God. So I ran and rang her doorbell, and her father came out in his boxer shorts and nothing else. And I said to her father, her head is stuck in the fence. So now he runs back inside to put something on, grabs her mother, her grandmother, her grandfather. They all come out. They're trying to get the neighbors come, right? And they're trying to get her head out of the fence. And finally they do. And I remember the whole big thing. So when we were outside talking the other day, she came by and we were just sitting outside having the coffee because it was a little nicer. And I said, "Don't you remember that time you got your head caught in the fence?" And there's a reason why we started talking about the fence, and I'll tell you that in a second, which was paranormal, I'm sure. But this part, so I said, "Do you remember that time?" She goes, "I don't remember it at all." And I said, "No, I remember." And I tell her what I just told you and about her father coming out. She goes, "Oh my God, we had to be about 2 years old." Because my father left when I was the age 2 or 3. I don't remember my father at all. Um, and I was like, oh, I go, well, maybe that's why you have no memory of it. But I go, I remember it clear as day. And then it dawned on me. I said to her, how could we be 2 years old? Do you think your mother and my mother, even though these are, you know, this was in the late 70s, early 80s, right? Um, Probably like 79 or 80 it was. Who the hell's gonna leave a 2 years old out in the streets with nobody watching? Okay. I know nobody was watching because A, she stuck her head in the fence, and B, I had to ring the doorbell to get her mother and father to come out. So they just left us on the street, 2 years old, by ourselves. I said no. So the reason why I texted her was because I was like, listen, ask your mother. I want to know if your mother remembers you getting your head caught in the fence, because her mother's the only one alive. Because my parents passed away, her grandparents passed away, her father just passed away, even though he left, but he back to their home country when she was small. But I don't think that's small because, you know, um, yeah. So I mean, it wasn't painful because, she had big ears, and that's why she couldn't get, once they pushed her ears back, they were able to get her head out of the fence. But it took 3 people, but it was very funny. But she doesn't remember that. She doesn't remember. I was able to tell her what her father looked like to a T. And she's like, I don't remember any of that. Like, you have a good memory if you remember when we were two. I'm like, I can't imagine who the hell would leave two-year olds out in the street. Nobody. I don't believe it for a minute. So when I asked her, she said her mother was busy. But I'm hoping to see if at least her mother remembers that it happened. You know. Anyway. Hey Mary. Um, Hi
Hello,
Rosanna.
Mary.
Welcome back. So yeah.
Hi,
So
Rosanna.
super curious because I don't know. I remember it so vividly, but you know, hey
Hi.
Jen.
Oh, hi, Jen.
So yeah, so I remember it so vividly, but she has no memory of it. So now, what prompted this was we were talking, and this is what prompted me because of the fence to ask her about the fence thing. So she was talking, and I happened to look over because I felt like, when you see something out of the corner of your eye. So I looked, and my fence, where the driveway is, the fence is opened and tied because so the guy can bring in and out his car without having to get out and open the fence all the time. So the fence is tied from the fence to from the gate opening to the fence. So I look over, and she must have noticed that I looked over, and she looked over too. And it looked like something invisible jumped over the rope, which made the whole fence shake. And it was so odd because it was a big something that made it move. You could tell the way how much the fence moved and the rope and whatever. But there was nothing there. And both of us at the same time went, oh, weird. And then I'm like, oh, you saw it too? Like, I didn't know she was looking because I was so focused. He's like, yeah. Um, and I'm like, oh, and so after we got over how weird that was, I was like, do you remember when you got your head stuck in the fence? And this is when she tells me, nope, I don't remember any of it. So that may be if nobody else remembers it and only me, you know, I don't know. It could be a one of those time slip things because it's such a vivid memory. I'll never forget it. Maybe it was traumatic, and from them, I never stuck my head anywhere, my hands at nothing, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah, well, I believe there's just my belief, guys. It's no, but I believe you can walk through natural timeline doors or plane doors, right? But they're natural. You don't know they're there until something happens, and then the only way to get back where you're supposed to be is to retrace your steps, and you end up back where you started. And
yeah,
the thing with it is, the good news is, there's no way you can stay not on your own timeline or on your own plane because eventually you're forced back onto it without you knowing it as well. So, I mean, it could happen whenever, right? Anyway, one time, me and a bud, it might have been my son or might have been I don't remember who it was. Anyway, we went out and about. We're doing a bunch of stuff, having a good time and that. And anyway, we're coming down the road, right? And I look and I'm like, no, that ain't right. Shit, that ain't right. So I says to him, I says, hey, don't look up. Just keep looking straight like we're going, right? I don't want you to look up. He says, okay. I just point to the moon. Point at the moon. So, of course, they point like this, right? I started laughing. I said, okay, now take a look. And they looked, they went, well, I guess you can't see it. I said, turn around. They turned around and the moon was 180 degrees in a different direction. Like it was instead of being up here in the front, it was back here behind, right? I turn around, I says, have a look. And he looks at me, he goes, that's impossible. I says, yeah. I says, and why is that impossible? He says, because where we are, that's the east. It's impossible. The moon can't be back there. I said, exactly. Right. And even the stars, like you look at the stars, you can tell they're not right. You can't tell like 100% where they should be, but they're off. You can see that they're off, right? So I says, you know what we got to do? Hey, he goes, well, I says, we got to turn around and start walking back until we notice the moon's in the right spot. That's what we got to do because we obviously crossed through a door. Yeah, okay. And I said, what do you mean, yeah, okay? He says, sounds kind of far fetched to me. And I said, yeah, where's the moon again? He goes, well, there is that. I said, yeah. So what do you think? You want to keep going that direction or do you want to go so we get the moon back where it's supposed to be? He says, if that happens, I'll believe it. I said, okay. So we headed back up the road. We turned right, went for about 2 or 3 blocks. Then we turned into where the coffee shop was where we were going. Went into the coffee shop. I said, well, might as well grab a coffee to go. So we grabbed a coffee, walked back out the door, looked up, and the moon was right there where it was supposed to be. Right. He looks at me and he goes, how the hell? I says, let's go. Let's get back to the house. So we start walking. We started walking home, right? Coming down the road, and I said, where's the moon? So he looks up and he smiles. He goes, right effing there. He where it's supposed to be. I said, okay, there you go. I said, so you tell me why it was behind us then. Because there's
Yeah,
no possible way that I could have been, you know what I mean? And not on this planet anyway. Maybe on the other side of the world, like if we were in Australia, yeah, it would be there, but not on this side of the world. No,
yeah,
it's impossible, cannot be. And that
yeah,
really, really freaked them out, right? But things like that happen where people will notice, and it happens more times than anyone realizes, where a person will say, "Wait a minute, this is all backwards." You know, I remember coming here before, but the door was on the other side of the building. This is the wrong side for the door to be, or like there will be things that are slightly different or slightly out of place, right? And
yeah,
that happens so many times. And then they go and do their business, and when they come out, I've heard of people they'd go into say like a grocery store, right? So they're standing in front of the store and they go, wait a second, the indoors are over there. What the hell? They must have changed, in and outdoors, right? So they go in the store, they do their shopping, and when they're leaving, they come out the door and they go, "Well, wait a second, now this is the way it was before. Like, what the hell's going on here?" Right? They don't know, right? But it's back to normal, right?
yeah,
And things like that happen so many times, people don't even realize it. They're just like, "Must be, something wrong with my
yeah,
head. I'm just thinking strange or whatever." It's so easy to write it off because it's so weird,
yeah,
like it's really weird. And then when they go forward, they stop and they turn around, they go back, then they look, it's normal again. Well, it's because they went in and out, right?
yeah,
So they go, well, I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I thought for a second,
yeah.
and that happens more times than not. So,
Hmm. Well, like what you said with the moon, I was the other day. They said it's some big, humongous moon, and I was like, "Ooh, I want to see it." It's going to be coming up because it will come up near, this side of my backyard. So I said, if I look at it there, it should be big and whatever. Um, and it was early, like the moon should have been just coming from there because um well, I used to sit outside and do the live streams all the time. So it would start near the train and it would go around and around and around and around till it went all the way around to the front of the house. So I go out. And right in front of me, there's no moon. So I go, okay, oh, I'm out early. It's probably more near the train. And I looked that way and I said, no, okay. And as I go to turn around to go in the house, it's all the way on the other side where it should be at like midnight. And it's a small regular moon. And I just looked at it. I go, oh, that's depressing that it's so small. And as I went, I'm looking, I'm like, but wait, why the hell is it there? It can't be there at this time, you know. And I just kept
Yeah.
staring and I'm like, what the hell? I couldn't understand. I'm like, maybe, it's one of those weird times of the year or some crap, And I just went back inside, never thinking that obviously it just really can't be there on that side at that time.
Well, no, it can't. I'll tell you a secret. The universe is not going to shift polarity just to move the moon so we can see something different that's not supposed to be there, right? Like it's not
Yeah.
going to do that. You know, it's not going to bend to our wishes. Uh, or just to say surprise. It doesn't do that. It has a constant sort of routine, right?
Yeah, the
It
constant
doesn't,
trajectory. So it goes
right.
around, and at certain times, that's where it should be. I mean, depending if there's a time change or something, there might
Like
be a little difference
if
of
it
where it is, but it's not going to do a whole half of a thing when
no,
it had to have risen there, which is the opposite of where it's supposed to
well,
rise.
I'll tell you what. If the bodily ancestors, if the sun and the moon could move wherever the hell they felt like it, whatever day they wanted to, they'd sure hell wouldn't never been any reason to come up with a sundial.
Yeah, that's right.
The simple fact, the simple fact that they've used a sundial for 4,000 years kind of proves that it's sort of a steady thing that happens all the time. you
Yeah,
know,
right.
Otherwise, what would be the point of it, right? Like if you can't count on it being at this certain spot, what use is a sundial? you know,
Yeah,
like so. Yeah, no, they don't just shift because So then there has to be another explanation, right?
yeah.
And
Hi, Scott.
you know, it's never necessarily going to be obvious and it's never necessarily going to have to make sense or be logical, but there's always some kind of an answer. And even if the answer doesn't make sense to you know, the majority of the people, as
Yeah,
long as some that you can live with and some that you can I don't know, comprehend in your own way, it's good enough. You don't need any other answers as long as you can take what's happened to you, regardless of what it is. If you can take whatever happened to you and have it compute in your head that you can understand why, you know, and
yeah,
it fits within your parameters, then that's good enough. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times there is no answer. So the main thing is make it understandable to yourself. If you can understand it, even if 10,000 people say you're full of shit, well, they're not the ones that have to live with what you've just experienced. You're the one that has to be able to make sense of it, right?
yeah,
So that's all that matters in the end game.
yeah. Now I was
All
watching
right.
another lady. She was out of sorts. She lived in one state and she had a coworker who moved to another state. And the coworker went to a Goodwill and was in the Goodwill and saw this picture in a moon picture frame. And she took a picture of the picture, a frame with the picture in it, and sent it to her and goes, "Is this you?" And when her friend opened it up, she goes, "Oh my God." Now she has the original picture. She went to Sears. She got one sheet of 6 pictures, one bigger one, 5 wallets, and to give to her grandparents because her grandmother wanted a nice picture of her. The pictures she took were in color and it was one pose because it was one sheet, right? So she took one pose and it was in color and, you know, she gave it out. And now this one was she could tell was the same what she was wearing and everything in that Sears photo, but it was in black and white and it was a different pose. So she was so confused, and so she told her friend, "Hey, where'd you get that? Where was it? I'm going there and I'm going to look at it." Or go back and get it and whatever. So the friend goes, "Okay." So the friend went back to get it and it wasn't there. She's like, "Somebody bought it so fast, like it was only a few hours." Um Bought that picture frame with the picture in it. Like it was so weird. But because she had the picture on her phone, she put the two pictures together and she's like, "What the hell is going on?" Even if Sears would like take a picture for a promotional and not tell me and change it to black and white, why is the pose different? I never posed like that. So she was all crazy about how the hell did, you know. So things like that happen too, crazy stuff. Hey Eddie.
Hi, Eddie. I can't see
Um,
who's in chat, so hi, anyone I missed.
Yeah. So yeah, and in case you're just joining us, we're talking about like time slips and glitches that happen to people, that things that they just can't explain, that's not necessarily paranormal, but maybe more supernatural in the way of like timelines and stuff. So that's what we've been talking about. And if you've had any experiences, of course, let us know down in the chat.
No, no.
So yeah.
If you've had experiences like that, write your story down and send it to Christina, and then she'll do a story on her channel about it. So just get a hold of Christina, tell her your story, so that she can use it to make a cinema of your story. And if you want your name attached to the story, say yeah. And if not, say she can then say one of my YouTubians or one of my followers gave me this story. Or
Yeah.
she could say, or she could say, Eddie and Jen and Flogs and then some gave me this story. Whatever you like.
Yeah.
But send her all your stories of weird shit that goes on that you can't explain, and she'll make a cinema for you for it on one weekly cinema. Maybe one of the other things that you're thinking about putting on the shelf for a while, you can put these stories instead.
Yeah. Um, and then we have this is a big thing that's been happening lately to people, duplication of items. So now, has anybody had this happen? Like, there was one girl, she bought this jacket that she totally loved. She goes, "I have this black jacket, totally love it. It was like on special. I got it in New York when I was there visiting. And I always put it on the hanger like this. And I wore it the other day out. And I came home with it, put it on the hanger, and hung it up. And then I went to the closet to hang it up, and it was already there hanging. The exact same jacket, the exact same size, hung the exact same way. How do I have two of these jackets?" Like, she was flipping out. There's another lady who said, after my mom had died, she gave me these a set of earrings, right? So they were pretty earrings, gold earrings that she got from her mother. And she dropped one in the sink and she was so horrified and she couldn't get it out. She was crying. She went to sleep. And then the next morning when she woke up, they were both on the dresser. The pair, like where there was only one now, there was two. And she cannot explain how it got on the dresser. Thank you so much for the super sticker, Eddie and Jen. I
I,
appreciate
I
you.
can I can tell you how it got back on. One of her spirit friends said, "Oh, poor girl," and grabbed the earring and put it there. Simple.
But there. Now, that is one where it was missing in the house, right? Another lady now we talked about the jacket, how it was duplicated. We talked about the earring coming up, and like fairies will do that, find something that you lost or something. But I don't know that they can make another one out of nowhere. So this other lady had She was wearing two. She had a ring set of three. So it was a band, her engagement ring, and then another band. So it was three rings. And the bands were just tiny bands that you could wear to get together with the ring or separate. And she had to go to the to have a MRI or something. She took them off. She gave them to her husband. She took the MRI. She put them back. She got back to the house, and she was gonna wash her hands or something. And so she has this little thing near the sink where she puts her rings. When she went to take the three rings off, there was a ring in there already. So she takes it out, and it's a third band. So she's like, wait, I have one band, I have my ring, two bands. Exactly the same. However, it was like brand new because when she took off her bands and she put them two, now she's doing a video. She put them two together. You could tell like she's like me. I if I bang the ring too much and it's like a softer metal, it would kind of dent a little. So the two that she had on were dented. The other one was brand spanking new. Now it came in a set of three. It was her engagement ring and wedding ring set. She goes, how the freak is there another one? Like, how is there another one?
I don't know. But sprites and fays are known to do stuff like that, so
Yeah. I mean, you know.
it's a possibility. But too, a lot of times, I honestly believe a lot of times you lose stuff and the spirits will bring it back to you. Simple as.
Yeah. Hi, Maria.
Dupli-
Um,
duplicating an item entirely, like the two jackets or whatever, that's
yeah. I don't know. And there's a lot of stories like that. There's another guy who had a sweatshirt made. Like, well, he bought the sweatshirt. It was a North Face. But in the back, he had like a screen print put on something like a logo um for his company. And he only got one done because he didn't know how it was going to go. So he got only one. They gave it to him. He's had it 3 years. He likes his sweatshirt with the logo, right? He always puts it when he takes it off, when he gets it after work, he always takes it off and hangs it on the back of his seat. So he gets in his truck Monday after work, takes off his jacket, hangs it over the seat, looks over, and there's a jacket on the floor. And when he picks it up, it's the same exact jacket. Now he's like, how'd it fall? And when he pulls it, there's two of them. He goes, how the fuck is it possible?
oh,
No way. So that's something that's happening more and more, according to people. I don't know. It has not happened to me yet. I'll have to, I don't know, see if it ever happens to me. But I just thought that, super strange that these people are having these things happen. Her husband bought it. No, this was the guy, single guy, runs like a little, I don't know, plumbing thing or something. And so that jacket just happens to have, but it was expensive, he said. So that's why he only had one. And it was exactly this.
hi
Now, if it was
Maria.
something you could buy in the
Maria,
store,
there's a name here I never seen. Maria
Maria, oh
Scorpio.
yeah, she changed, like, that's Maria. She's been here a lot when I do the readings. But
Change the
yeah,
name.
so no, but the YouTube is only doing the acts. They're not doing the channel names anymore. So if your at and your channel name is not the same, you'll not recognize the person. But Wednesday we'll be back to readings, guys. I had so much problem. My heat wasn't fixed till Thursday morning. So now everything will be back to normal. So yeah. Are you feeling like you're underwater? I just figured it'd be something different to put in the background because it moves, so it's water. Is it annoying you guys? Then of course I could change it. Um, I just figured it'd be a little more interesting than a picture that stays still. But anyway, um, yeah. But so I just found it really strange, those kind of things, and they've been popping up a little more lately. This they call it item duplication, but no, it's fine. Okay, no, well, I want to know because maybe it's getting some people nauseous. I'm freaking out. It doesn't bother me, um, but yeah. So no thoughts on that. I mean, like I said, if something's lost and it's brought back to you, I kind of figure it's a fey folk or something like that because I know my sister has lost things and asked them and put out like seeds and stuff for them, and then they'll bring it back to her and whatever. But when it's something like that where there's two jackets, you're like, she's like, I would first of all never buy two of the same exact jacket, the same size, you know. And I was in New York when I bought it. Like she was so adamant. She's holding it up and she's like, I don't understand. She was genuinely like taken aback. Like, now could she have taken someone else's jacket from somewhere when she thought she had hers? Maybe. But then I go back to the lady with how'd she get three rings? Is it something that is happening? I've lost my
Well,
mind. What?
duplication, duplication there's been counts of it for thousands of years, you know,
Yeah,
but nobody's really looked into, um, there's not much study on it, if that
yeah.
makes sense.
But
Like,
then
there's not.
what I was thinking was like with your $20, right?
Mhm.
Um, did that
Different
person
blade.
jump a timeline, put that ring on or put that jacket on, bring it back with them, and now they have two of those jackets?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. Like if somebody was out and they went for a walk and they went home, they got the key. I mean, everything's the same, right? Just only certain things are different, right?
Yeah,
So a person could have come in, put their coat up, and figured, oh, I got to run someplace, took off, boom, you got another coat, right? I could see that happening, you know.
yeah.
Is that what happened? I have no bloody clue.
I don't know.
Is it within the realm of possibilities? Why not? You know,
Yeah,
who knows?
yeah.
And I
Find
only
it
say
so
why not.
interesting.
I only say why not because I've experienced it myself, and I've got
Right.
I've got proof from the bank on a piece of paper saying I took out $20 and then I wasn't there and I still had my money. Like
Yeah.
that's from like black and white proof that I know what I did. My buddy remembered everything I said at the tail, what she said the next day. Like how do you disprove that? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing. We don't know. And it's so interesting. So, like I said, there's some things I think are timelines and stuff. I don't believe in this. We live in a matrix. I believe there's different timelines, parallel universes, all that kind of stuff. Um,
Yeah, I
you
don't
know,
believe in the Matrix bullshit.
yeah,
Fuck
I don't
that.
believe we're
I'll call
living
it.
in a
That's what.
simulation,
No, I don't believe in that bullshit. I do
you know.
believe. I do, however, believe there's the timeline, and people could accidentally jump on the timeline, not realize it, and shift 24 hours out, and then shift back. Or sometimes people have shifted 2 years in advance and then come back and don't even remember until the day they get to that place and they go, wait, I've been to this town before.
Yeah.
I'm going to walk into this place and this guy's going to come out and bump into me with a cup of coffee. And he opens up the door and then he goes like this and the coffee spills and he just got missed by getting hit by coffee, right? And it's all deja vu. It's like, I remember doing all this, right? Not really. You zipped
Yeah.
up a timeline and saw a part of your future that you haven't seen yet, right? Or you've
Yeah.
had foresight, or whatever you want to call it. But there's that type, and then there's the type where you cross the lines, right? And you actually end up physically going into a spot that you're not there yet. and then you come, it's like a astral projection on steroids, right? Like that's basically what it is. It's like you're projecting yourself ahead of your time, you know, and not even you're not aware of it, right?
Right.
And then the problem is you get snapped back, and the same thing's going to happen because it already did. It's already
Right.
part of your timeline, right? So the exact same thing's going to happen the next day or the next week or whatever, right? Now, all these things, I only say it because I've studied it and I understand. To me, the concept of it seems reasonable enough, And everybody else will say I'm nuts and crazy and full of shit, but I don't care. It's just what I believe, right?
Yeah,
So it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks.
that's right. Oh, Eddie, I did one video. I'm working on the second one. So um this week you message me today or tomorrow and let me know
Italian.
when week you could go live with me and we'll do what I was talking about. And I'll email you the video. Um before I forget myself. While I saw Eddie's name. So yeah. So um so we have the duplication, we have the moon being in the wrong place, doing the same thing to like there's a lot of different things to these glitches that we have. Um there was one guy who literally um I think I told his story on one of my videos where he like literally was walking where he always walks in his house in his neighborhood, and he was walking and he walked into this place and he saw like these two women and they were dressed in old fashioned clothes, and he's like, oh, there must be like some fair going on or some shit, like, he just figured, they're in costume for something, and he smiled at them and walked by them, and but then turned around and was looking at them, and it was like nobody else saw them, like, because he
Mhm.
just thought it was so odd, their big fluffy gowns and whatever in the middle of the street, and he didn't think anything of it, and he turns back around and he starts walking. 2 weeks later he goes out again walking that same thing, and literally there's a whole crap load of people in this old fashioned clothes like these ladies, and he's like, the heck is going on? And but this time people like him who were walking around, when they were walking through them, and then he's like, what the freak is going on? it was like it was like he was in between two places at one time, you know like he couldn't walk through them because he goes, now I'm going to try, and when he went to walk he brushed one of them and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am, or whatever. um but other people, like, he was like, what the frick is going on? Like, he was like in between, you know like on the outskirts. It was so weird. That's another one, because you figure you're going to go all in or you're not, like, but he like literally, and it wasn't even like a timeline that was his. It was like totally off that timeline, because
No, the timeline doesn't belong to anybody.
no, no, you know what I mean. It wasn't
Everybody,
like the same
everybody's on it.
year
Yeah,
timeline. It was like totally a different one.
yeah. But that's the thing with the timeline, right? You can step on the timeline today, right? And go 1,000 years that way or 1,000 years that way. It makes no damn difference. The timeline has no, it's
Right,
called the timeline because there's no time, right?
right,
There's no real, there's no chronological order to the timeline. You can zip up and down the timeline all you want, right? And
Yeah.
if you're experienced with it, you can see shit coming that no one else is gonna know about. Right?
Yeah.
So a person could be without realizing it, and in this case, this is kind of like a case for it. Now, this might not be what it is at all, right? But if he was stuck in a timeline loop, right? He'd be walking down the main street and see 50 people from the 1800s dressed and
Yeah.
interact with them, plus interact with the people dressed nowadays,
Yeah.
and you could see both of them. But he'd be the only one because he's the one that's on the timeline,
Right.
right? All the other people wouldn't even notice the old people dressed in the old clothes, and the people in the old clothes would not see the new people because the people in the old clothes haven't moved from their timeline. They're still where they're supposed to be. The people modern in the modern times are still where they're supposed to be. The only one who's not on their own timeline is him.
Right.
He's standing on a timeline, and a timeline doesn't have a start or an end. He just
Yeah.
happens to be standing on the highway that allows you to see forward and backward, right? So the only thing that's on the timeline is him.
Right.
Everything else isn't. So they can't the other parts can't interact. He can interact with either side because he's on the line. But the people from the past aren't going to see the people in the present and vice versa because they're not on the timeline. They're where they're supposed to be.
Right. Congratulations, Pam.
Oh,
So
Chris.
we have Pam who entered, Suzanne, and Christina.
Hello,
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 welcome
and hello.
everybody. Also, David. Hi, David.
Hi, David.
Um. So yeah. Um. And Janelle. Hi, Janelle.
Hi, Janelle.
So yeah. So I found that one interesting because usually when people tell the stories, they just walk into somewhere and all of a sudden they're not where they should be, and they realize that. There was this one
I
poor guy.
see. It could be anything, right?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it is only this or that or whatever, but it's just been my experience. It's because someone's
Right.
standing on the timeline and don't realize they are.
Right. Right. Exactly. And and that's what I'm saying. I find it so that there's so many different ways that these things can happen and so many different experiences that people have. Because he was literally must have been walking on it, like you said, like he walked that same way 2 weeks in a row, and 2 weeks in a row this happened to him. Um, but yeah, so this other guy had went to the beach, took off his clothes, jumped in the ocean, you know, swam around, came out, and there was nobody there. And he's like, "What the fuck is going? Like, is there something going on? Like, why all of a sudden there's no people?" So he like puts back on his clothes and he walks up to the top of, like, because I guess where it was like you would walk down these stairs onto the beach and whatever. So he walks up to the stairs so he could see the road, and there's no road. Everything's like back in the day kind of thing. Like, there's no like regular houses, and it's like barren land. And he's like, what the frick is going on, right? So he's like, well, yeah, I'm gonna walk into town because he's just so confused. So he walks into the town, and the town is like not stores, but merchants. Like all these merchant people in the streets selling stuff, right? It's like, where the fuck are the stores? Like, what the hell is going on? And so he asked somebody, where am I? Because now he thought he swam to a different town or something. Because it's like, where the hell am I? It looks like the same town, but it's not, obviously. And they tell him where he is. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's where I'm supposed to be. And now he's like hysterical because he doesn't understand, right? So he's like, I'm going to go back to the beach, because something happened there, So he walks back to the beach and goes behind the rock and he's just sitting there hysterical, like, for 4 hours, he said. And then, like, all of a sudden, he started to hear people behind him. And he got up and he looked, and the beach looked like then it did when he got into the water. And he went up, and then there was his town. And he's like, he goes, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, that's a perfect
Um,
example right there.
yeah.
Perfect example.
Oh, wow, Scott, you have to tell us about it. Hey,
That's nice.
Andre. Yeah, so, and I've had things of deja vu before, but I realized maybe it was a past life thing and not like a timeline thing. Um, but then there's some things that I thought were related to a deja vu kind of life thing, and now I realize it was probably a timeline thing, you know,
Oh,
because
whoever just came in.
that's Andre. Hi, Andre. He says hello. Um, Having deja vu is not pleasant. No. So I I won't forget this when things are different colors. And I'm assuming that might be because of a timeline, right? Because things kind of look the same if you're on a parallel timeline. Um, so I was going to work one day and there was a building under construction, and parked right in front of the building under construction was a baby blue like Corvette kind of thing, older car, gorgeous car. Uh and it was yeah, and it was baby blue with a black racing stripe. I said, oh, what a gorgeous car. So went to work, didn't think about it. When I went home from work that day, I didn't pass by that way, I went the other way. The next day when I was going to work, I passed by that car again. And as I'm passing by, that was it's the same exact car parked in the same exact spot, except it is maroon red with a black racing stripe. And I go, why the hell would they paint the car? And I look at the car and I'm looking to see if there's paint drops somewhere because I'm like, it's hard to find the same exact parking space in Queens, right? So I'm like, this guy, what did you paint the car in the middle of the like? But no, it was exactly that car and I just couldn't understand it. And in my head, I go, why the hell would you paint that ugly maroon red when it was that beautiful light powder blue? Anyway, I was like, whatever. I go to work, I work, go out of work, and instead of going home my regular way, I said, I'm gonna pass by that car again because I just couldn't believe it, right? I get up to the car, it's powder blue. And I said, okay, I'm losing my damn mind, you know? Like,
That's an exact. That's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. See, because you went through the door and you hit the
yeah,
timeline. It's the same car. It is the same car, but
yeah,
it's really not, right?
right,
And when you come back the other way, you went through the door. Now you're back where you're supposed to be. It's a blue car, the way it's supposed to be. See?
yeah,
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's how the timelines work. They'll mess with your head like that, you know.
yeah. And I was like, no, I'm not going back that way. I think I didn't walk that way for like a week because I'm like, no, we're not
Yeah,
going
no,
that way.
that's the way those things work anyway. In my experience, in my, the way
Yeah.
the way that I believe in the way that I've whatever experienced.
Oh, Eddie says that sounds like the butterfly effect. I don't know exactly what that is. I'll have to look it up.
Butterfly flaps its wing in New York Park and it rains in Arizona. That's the butterfly effect.
hmm
If it would
I
have
don't know, but
stayed still, If the butterfly would have stayed still, it wouldn't have made wind. The wind wouldn't have pushed the cloud wouldn't have pushed over to the next cloud, which caused condensation to rise up in and over top of Arizona, which then caused the rain. It's a butterfly.
Yeah,
The smallest of change in events can totally change the outcome of something happening. That's what the
right.
butterfly effect is.
Mm. I don't know because, like I said, I didn't. Then for the next week, I didn't go back there, and
Uh,
then curiosity got the best of me. And the next day, I said, "Okay, I'm gonna walk back, but I'm not gonna walk on that side where the car is. I'm gonna walk on the other side of the street." So I crossed over, walked on the other side, look over, the car's not there. That's okay. Come back tomorrow. Maybe be around. That car never ever. I never saw it again. Like, never ever. Right, Eddie. Yes. So yeah, it was just strange to me that, and I damn well stood there staring at it that it was maroon red, looking around. Yeah, yes, Eddie, looking around
it's
to
the
make sure there was no
butterfly's
paint
fault.
drops or anything, and I literally know it was like maroon red, and I just was like,
That's the damn butterfly. Give him a kick in the ass. You know,
to give him
if
a
he would have
kick in the
kept
ass.
his if he would have kept his damn wings still, that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's what that means. It just means the smallest incident can vastly change the outcome of the thing that's happening.
yeah. So that
The
was another
scientific
crazy one.
the scientific explanation is far more you know different than mine. But
Yeah.
something happens here, shit happens over there. That's basically what it is.
Right. Now I think I know that Mary has a timeline story where I think she went around in a circle and they kept passing the same thing or something. That was a weird one too, like a loop. So
Time time loops are beautiful. Yeah, don't
yeah,
get stuck in those. Those
that's
suck.
right. Um, so here, another person says this just happened to me and my fiance, and we're a little freaked out. He couldn't find his phone, and I offered to call him. When he found his phone, he answered on speaker and said hello while next to me. I answered with hello too, but when we heard my voice coming out of his phone, it was clearly saying hey. We looked at each other and ended the call. We couldn't come up with a rational explanation, which does not mean there isn't one, maybe. We just can't think of one. It made me feel like those scenes in a horror movie where a character is standing in front of the mirror and their reflection doesn't match their movements.
Is that person in our chat?
No, that's one of the like because I found a whole bunch of stories from different people around the internet, so I you know, I was reading them for you guys.
That's just a ghost messing with you. That's funny. That's something that Astro would do. Yeah.
That could be, it could
Astro,
be a paranormal thing, yeah.
Astro Shakara would do that in a heartbeat, so that's definitely one of the spirit guides with a sense of humor.
Yep. I don't have Netflix, but I do have Prime. And if you are not watching Susie the show Ghosts, I recommend just Ghosts, not the one from BBC, the New York one, the knockoff BBC one. I think it's boring. But anyway, the one from here, the Ghosts series, yeah, you should start watching it. That series is fabulous. Funny, the actors are great. Like, it's not really how paranormal works, but it's funny to watch anyway. So, if you haven't seen that one, that's a good one.
Tried to I'm getting a tattoo one time at this tattoo shop.
I'm grabbing a cigarette. 1 second. You can.
And and I says to the guy, I says, holy shit. I says, who's that? And they said, who? And then I said, oh, there's an old guy. And I described the old guy. I said, standing right there. Can't you see him? And the guy looks at me really weird and he goes, well, he says, it sounds like my dad who died a couple of years ago. He says, but he says, I don't believe in ghosts or any of that bullshit. And I said, oh, okay. And so Astro goes behind the guy, right? He goes, hey, super loud, right? The guy jumps, he goes like this, he starts looking around. And I said, obviously I just ignored it, right? So I'm sitting there. I looked at him and said, something wrong? He goes, what? I says, what the hell did you jump for? He goes, what? I says, something matter? What's going on? He looks at me and he goes, nothing, nothing. We're going to take a break though. I said, oh, okay, let's take a break. So the guy takes off out the door. I'm sitting there. I'm looking at Astro and I went, good one. And he laughs. He goes, whatever. He takes off. Shit, it cracks me up sometimes. Oh, I don't believe in ghosts or any of that spiritual shit. He goes, hey, super loud. The guy jumped out of his skin. And like the guy was terrified. You could see the look on his face. His eyes were like saucers. He's looking around. I said, what's the matter? He goes, what? I said, what's wrong with you? He says, you didn't hear that? I said, hear what? He goes, you didn't hear that? I said, I didn't hear nothing. What are you talking about? He says, we're taking a break. I said, okay.
But you saw his father, so he must. I mean, how are you going to describe his father? His father's deceased, and he goes, I don't believe in that. Meanwhile, well, explain how I saw the guy. You know.
Well, I never mentioned it again after that,
No.
because to be honest, when I saw the guy, I was serious. Like, who's that? Like, I thought there was another customer came in the back door or something, right? Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't like I thought he was a spirit or anything.
Right.
I just asked him, who's that? And he says, who's who? I said, the tall guy with the glasses and the bald head and you know, anyway, whatever he looked like. I can't remember now, but whatever. And he said, that's my father. He's been dead for 2 years. I don't believe in that ghost bullshit. The Astro couldn't resist himself at that point. So,
Yep. Poor father trying to talk to him, and he's like, I don't believe in that shit. Oh yeah.
well, it
Oh
changed
yeah.
his mind. Changed his
I'm sure
mind.
he did.
After that, he was a different guy. I've seen him after that a few times, and I said, what? No, I can't say that because I don't remember 100%. But I think he even asked me after if I've seen him again or something. But that might just be in my head. I don't know if he did or not.
Yeah. That might be on a different timeline. He asked you that question.
And I don't know. I can't remember. I can't remember the details of it. Right? Like I vaguely remember it, but if I don't remember the details, I kind of discount it all the time.
Oh yeah. Stay safe, Susie. Hi, Doris. That's Doris, right? I think so. Like I
All
said,
right.
since they started with these act things, it's driving me nuts because I don't know who people are. I think the Mustangs is Doris. Anyway, mm, have any of you
That's
guys died and come back from the unknown, like me? Oh, I know a few people um, who did go over to the other side or get stuck in the like they called their death, but they were they could hear and whatever, and then they woke up and go like, "What the hell? I'm not dead." You know, some people like has had those experience. Like I know personal people. I think Danny had a few of those experiences too.
3 times.
Hmm.
23 or 24, I don't remember. Doesn't matter. Over 20 times.
Over 5 times that happened to Danny. Yeah. So,
The
um,
last time that I died was the weirdest. I was in the call cold blue. My son was there, Georgie was there. Well, I came back. But on that one, so weird. I ended up sitting on this park bench and I thought it was reality because I'm dead. So whatever. I didn't know I was dead. So I'm sitting on this park. I knew in 2 seconds later I was, but at the moment I'm sitting there and I'm looking and I'm watching the birds and I'm seeing all this beautiful scenery and trees and there's this little river and you can hear the water. And I'm sitting there just enjoying myself and all of a sudden my arm goes like this as somebody elbowed me right on this bench. This is what happened. Anyway, so I'm sitting there and my arm goes like this and I turn and look and it's the Grim Reaper, right? He's sitting there. He leans forward, looks at me and he goes, "You here again?" I said, "What?" He says, "Get out of here. You're not supposed to be here yet. Goodbye. I'm tired of seeing you on this bench." Right? And then I woke up in the hospital. Like I sat up like this, and the doctors and the nurses screamed because the way I sat up. "Oh, you're alive. You're alive. Oh, thank God." And I says, "Yeah, I just had to go visit a buddy, I guess, on the bench, whatever."
Yeah.
But it's like he was pissed at me. He goes like, "Are you back here again?" I went, "What?" He said, "You're not supposed to be here. Get." I said, "Okay." But yeah, that was the last time. Last time I got shit for it. So I said, "Okay, well, it wasn't my fault. Didn't do it on purpose. What the hell?"
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what happened.
Mary says there's a few times where she had stopped breathing in her sleep and a spirit had pushed her, woke her, shook her, and she would wake up. I was cold blue on the pavement near fatal motor. You had a fatal. Oh, David, glad you're okay.
Man to that. Yeah.
Yeah. And our other friend, I think Boomer, he had that where he fell when he was playing. Well, he was playing basketball and got knocked out. Went to the hospital. They actually called it. They said that sorry to his parents, whatever. After he was in a coma 2 days, and he heard the doctor say it, but he only saw blackness that whole time. He was in like blackness, and he could hear some stuff, but not everything. And then all of a sudden, when the doctor called it and gave a time and everything and started writing it down, he was like, "No, no, wait a minute," and woke up. And everybody was like, "Oh my God," like
Yeah.
they had already had a death certificate for him.
Yeah. Like I say, a lot of times I have. But for me, all mine, I've been visiting people, like my ancestors and stuff. And I go chit chat with them for a little bit. And then I wake
Right.
up, you know. So and sometimes I go and I think it's because I'm supposed to collect some knowledge from whoever I'm
Yeah.
gonna see at the time, right? So I'll talk to them and take whatever information or whatever they want to tell me, and then it's okay, I got it. And then I wake up. And that's basically all that's ever happened with me. Nothing
Hmm.
nothing really weird, except that last time when they got shit.
Yeah.
I told them, well, they injected me with some stuff when I was going under that tubey thing and I died. I told them not to give me that shit, but they gave it to me anyway. So here
Right.
I am. And
Yeah.
he said, well, get back there. I said, okay. And that was it. That was by far the weirdest thing that ever happened.
Yeah. Oh, so sorry, K Dog. Well, thank goodness you're okay, you and your family.
Whatever
Uh,
she said, sorry for, I suppose.
Now I'll read it. Sorry. K Dog said he is in a hotel because their house was hit by a tornado last night.
Oh, you glad everybody's okay and you're at the hotel.
Yeah, they're in Oklahoma. Hmm.
Thankfully, you're all still together and alive. That's the main thing.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, Suzanne.
And once
But
again,
yeah,
guys, if I happen to answer you, it's because I cannot see the chat unless you write in capitals.
yeah. Um, Most of them are talking to each other, and it's great that you're all talking. Um, yeah, so those were some of the things that, you know, I wonder, I must have some more stories. Let's see.
Well,
I don't
hon,
want
you
to
can
read it.
continue on, but I gotta get off of here. Gotta have a little bit of
Oh,
rest
right,
and
love.
and I gotta do my workout, you know. So, but I need to have a quick nap first before I decide to try lifting 280 pounds. So
Yeah.
I should probably close my eyes for a little bit. Anyway, guys, thank you for coming. Big blessings. I think maybe Wednesday, if I'm not too busy, I'll come
Hmm.
on with Christina and I'll read a couple cards for you guys. And
Awesome.
so probably Wednesday I'll come on with Christina if everything works out. Okay. And yeah. And then I'll tell you what's coming up this spring and summer with
Yes.
my paranormal channel, which is really, really different. Actually, I wonder if I should tell you now.
Tell us.
This summer,
Mhm.
my brother is going to become the second member in town of Chasing Bones Inspectors. And we're going to do something different this year. This year, starting sometime in the spring, we're going on a cryptid search for Bigfoot. And we're going to spend the summer and the fall searching and trying to find evidence of the elusive Bigfoot.
Yes.
Because there's a
A
viral
video.
video going on right now where they have a picture of him running across rocks. That is right in front of my family's homestead. We know the entire area. I mean, we were there for 50 years, right? So we know the entire area. My brother and I have had experiences there before, but again, they're just more stories of something, whatever. Yes. Now, my brother's a big cryptid type guy. I've always been the paranormal guy. He's always been into cryptids. So he said, you know what? We should try to get some proof. So I said, you know what? Why the hell not? We'll spend a year chasing the cryptids because it's something that he wants to do. And I think it would be fun for all you guys and it'd be fun for the Chasing Bones Inspectors crew. So we're going to go and I don't know what we're going to call it. I think hanging with Bigfoot or something. I don't know what we're going to call it. But that's what we're
Mhm.
doing this year is we're going on the hunt. So there you
Yeah.
go. You heard it first here. Hasn't been an announcement about it yet. There will be an announcement on my channel probably in the next week or two. This is
Yeah.
just a sneak peek announcement for you guys. No one else needs to know yet. but that's what we're planning on doing over the summer. So there you guys go. You guys got the inside scoop of something going on that nobody else knows about yet.
That's right. You guys got the inside scoop. So, uh,
All right. We'll talk to you there, hon.
I'll talk to you later. Thank you.
Cheerio. Bye, everybody.
Okay. So I'm not so big and in your face. Doesn't it sound like fun, Nina? I cannot wait. So, yeah, so here we go. Also, K Dog needs a little help because I think he's short $18 for the hotel stay that their family's staying in because their house was hit by a tornado last night. So if you can, he put his PayPal up, and I'm going to read you guys at least one more story since you're all here. So let's read another glitch story, and you guys let me know about it. So we read the bullet. Okay, here we go. I need to see it though. Okay. Um, I'm I was working in Pittsburgh, PA. There you go, right near you, Kimmy, in PA. So I was working in Pittsburgh, PA, in a travel job where I would stay in hotels throughout the week and then travel home for the weekend. I got off at 5 p.m. per usual, and before I got on the PA Turnpike, I stopped at a mom and pop style gas station to fuel up for the trip home. Got my gas, went in, paid for it, and headed for the turnpike. I drove maybe 2.5 hours before I decided I was going to pull off and get a quick bite and use the bathroom. I punched in my GPS to the nearest gas station and headed to it. And I swear to God, I pulled into the exact same mom and pop gas station. I walked in, I got a burger, and almost fell over. Come on. Sorry, 1 second, because the thing that talk about glitches, the internet glitched and it threw me off my story here. Okay. Um, so here I walked in, got a burger, and almost fell over. I was so freaked out. Finished up in the gas station, walked out to my truck, and my GPS reflected I was in the same spot. Those 2.5 hours of driving completely erased as it was after 7. I should have been halfway home. The only logic I have is I fell asleep at the station, but surely someone would have woke me up if I was there that long. And I remember the drive and the gas in my truck had reflected that I had been driving. So he looked at his gas gauge. It's only it's the only glitch I ever had, and it still baffles me to this day. Yeah, that's some kind of glitch, right? uh, Hello. Um, yeah. So good night, Scott. Janelle, you had an accident? What? I'm sorry. Oh, I pegged you by accident. Okay. I saw the accident and I'm like, you had an accident? Okay. Sorry. Yeah, that's a crazy one. Thanks, Andre, for hanging out. Okay, so next Wednesday we'll start, hopefully, God willing, nothing will go wrong. And we'll start back with our schedule. My cousin is here from Greece, but that shouldn't cause too much of a difference. I'm hoping to get Mary back to join me Thursday, so hopefully we'll be back to our normal schedule. Let me read one more of these things at least. Just a bit of background. No serious mental health problems. They got to start with that. Um, So I don't think I was tripping or hallucinating. I don't take any medicines. This morning, I woke up for work, left a little earlier than usual because I woke up before my alarm. Filled my water bottle, grabbed my access card, and got into my car and drove off. My commute is the same every day, 40 minutes. It's mostly interstate, and there's always traffic. While my car is warming up, I pick an album to listen to for the drive there. I usually make it about three-fourths of the way through the album before I get to work. Every day it's a new album. So I did all of that like I always do. I drove to work and remember being cut off. I remember being in a stand. I remember being cut off by a car, and I was in standstill traffic like as I was going towards my exit. I remember the album I listened to. I even responded to a text using Siri. I remember seeing a type of car I've never seen before in the US. I remember thinking to myself, I'm glad it's not that hot today. I definitely drove. So I get to work, pull in to the same parking space I take every day, step out of my car, and lo and behold, I'm still in front of my apartment building. 40 minutes later, almost done with the album I put on. What the heck is going on? What am I doing here? Where did I go? Good night, Susie. So, yeah, that's another crazy one. No problem, Mary. I know I got to get off of here because my son and I got to eat dinner too. We did none of that. I listened to the 21st Century Suffragettes for 2 hours. I usually make dinner then, but what happened was I had like a late lunch, so I wasn't hungry then, so I didn't. But yeah, but that's what happened. Um, okay, crazy. Anyway, I think there's maybe one more, and then I'll let you guys go. Um, that was the lady who drove to work. Okay, here we go. Now I haven't read these. I just found these today, so I figured I'd just read them to you. Hey, Jen. Before making an offer on our house, my husband and I went for a viewing with our 3-year-old daughter, whom before making an offer on our house, my husband and I went for a viewing with our 3-year-old daughter, whom we'd left at the babysitter's the first time we saw the house. Okay, so this is the second time seeing the house. As we walked in, I told her she could choose a bedroom. She said, I want a dinosaur bedroom, and ran upstairs. Okay, 3-year-olds say random stuff. A moment later, she called out, Here it is. And sure enough, the closet of her bedroom was covered with dinosaur stickers. My husband, the realtor, and I were all freaked out. The kid acted like she knew the stickers were there, but none of us during the first viewing saw these stickers or could remember them being there. The house was vacant and immaculately clean. It wasn't uh there was an estate sale there prior to them viewing it, and you know everything was cleaned up after it. Why would anybody leave up the stickers? More coincidental than that, um my daughter shares the same name with a Pokemon, which we didn't know at the time. Years later, when she got into Pokemon, She recognized her namesake, and it happened to also be part of that sticker collection that was on the door. Okay. Another very strange one. She manifested that dinosaur room, that kid. I'm telling you. Yeah, just things that can't be explained. Craziness. Yeah, Jen, we were going over like glitches in the matrix. We talked about timelines, jumping them, stuff duplicating, stuff being found for us. Yeah, it was a super interesting um yeah, it was a really good live stream, really interesting. Um yeah. I mean, I think there's only like two more, so we might as well read them. Might as well get it over with. um so we don't have to go back to this. Hey, Jackie. Should say Evie. Okay. This one doesn't have to do with me, but with my mom. This happened on Friday. I was walking home from school. Everyone knows the feeling when you're done with all the crap from the past week and ready for the weekend. Once I got home, I left my backpack on the couch. My mom had a shocked look on her face. I asked her what was wrong, and she says, I picked you up early for a dental appointment, but now you're just coming in here? And she was so spooked and so confused. I gave her a hug and went to grab my backpack off the couch where I left it just a few seconds ago. It was not there. Keep in mind, there was no one else in the house but my mom and I. I had asked my mom if she had moved it, and she didn't. After we looked for a while, I found it in the passenger seat of my mom's car. I felt confused and shocked at the same time. I walked home. There's no way I could have just teleported to the car like that. I still have no idea what happened, and neither does my mom. So basically, the mom picked her up. They went to the dentist. The mom already thought she was in the house, and then she walked in the house. Okay. I don't know. She said that just has to do with her mom, but I'm pretty sure that has to do with her too. That one's crazy. Oh no. Oh no. I hope they're fast with that K dog. Okay. And definitely call the Red Cross too, because they help with that kind of stuff. Um, maybe there's some things they could give you too, you know? Okay, so I think there's only two more. Let's read all of them. One Saturday night, several months ago, I attended a birthday party at a friend's house. There were about 40 people in attendance, split between the basement and the main floor. I didn't go to the basement even once because the music down there was extremely loud, which I hate. And most of the people I knew were on the main floor anyway. My best friend had given me a ride to the party. We stayed together the whole night. A few days later, I ran into a distant friend of mine at school who had also been in attendance. He took out his phone and started showing me some photos he had taken that night. He got to the one that he got to the one that showed him and a girl posing for the camera in the basement, with me standing in the background smiling and looking directly into the camera, but not quite at it. So I was looking in the direction of the camera, but not quite at it, directly at it. I obviously freaked out and told him I hadn't been in the basement. He told me he had seen me there for several minutes. He said he tried to say hello, but I had seemed distant and distracted. I called my best friend who I was with the whole night, and she confirmed that I had been with her the entire night. I was not drunk, drugged. Um, I drank nothing all night but a bottle of water that I had brought with me. To this day, when I think about that picture, it scares the hell out of me. There was like another me in the basement. Oh boy. Um, so yes, that one's a kind of nutty one too. Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying yourself, Janelle. Okay, last one. Let's see, number 10, right? Okay. I'm not sure if this really counts as a glitch, but it's very creepy and unexplained. For a bit of context, I dated my ex. My ex, important detail, she had long hair at this point. Then we drifted away for a while. Then we got back together in a relationship. So, to cut to the point, during our relationship, I had a dream where she was there. However, her dream version was in the past, as she still had her long hair. So, the first time they dated, she had long hair. The second time, when they got back together, she had short hair. She had cut it. So, in the dream, she avoided me and acted really strange as if we weren't together anymore. Just like it wouldn't just like it would have been during our drifting apart period. I was weirded out, but not that much since it was a dream, right? Well, I told her about the dream, and it turns out she had dreamt the same exact dream as me, except little details like hers was 2 years before, exactly during the time when she had long hair and we weren't in each other's life. She remembers being weirded out because in the dream I acted like if we were together, and our both our descriptions of both the places we were and the people that were present matched in the dream perfectly. It was it was they were at a house party with lots of people and some common friends. Also, it had a lot of strange room with bizarre stuff like certain animals or objects that were laid out in the room so weirdly that it made it impossible to be a coincidence that we had the same dream. It was like a multiplayer dream with my ex with a 2 year gap between the dreams. Um, and I have no idea what it means. So, yeah, that was the last a weird story about maybe glitches in the Matrix or jumping timelines or stuff like that. So you guys let me know if there are any oh yes, I have to you're right. Let me screenshot it, Maria. Sorry, I had so much problems with my heat this week. I just got it fixed Thursday, so now I'm back in the swing of things. Um choop. So let me screenshot that so I remember and I can get you on Messenger. Yeah, super weird. Um he didn't exactly write it beautifully, but you guys got the idea. So those were some weird glitches. Um, and like I said, we had our stories, so I can't wait to see what my friend comes back with because the fact that she told me we were two, like between 2 and 3, when she got her head stuck in the fence, and I said to her, impossible. Who the hell would let two-year-olds be running around outside by themselves? Yeah, so I'm curious to see about that. Yeah, it will be on the show, the reading. No, I'm going to messenger it to you because I'm assuming you want to know it before Wednesday. So I will do that tomorrow and get it to you. I have another reading I have to do for a friend tomorrow too. So I'll make sure I write it all down. Yes. But thank you guys all for hanging out with me and for listening to our stories and sharing your own stories. That was great. And yeah, don't forget, if you could help, you got a new Facebook. So my links to my Facebook, sweetheart, is up in the description. So just message me. Hey, it's Maria. This is my new Facebook, so I know it's you, and then I'll answer that message. Um, but it's up in the description. My not the description. It's up in my on my channel, my Facebook. Let's see where you hit the more links. Let's see if I could copy it and get it for you. I don't know, but I never know how to do this. I don't want the app, you dumbasses. I just um no, I don't want to copy the Facebook. I want to copy my page. Hello. Copy link. Oh, here we go. See that? I could do it. I'm not that crazy. But it is up in my, if you guys ever want to message me, you ever have a problem, you ever need anything, if you go to the more links in my description, you will see that um, my Facebook is there and I believe my email. So I don't check the email as much, but the Facebook Messenger all the time. So you could always get me there. And there it is. That's the link. And great. So if and also if you can help our friend K Dog, because he has to stay in a hotel because his house was hit by a tornado. We'd appreciate you. He put in his PayPal link up above. That'd be great. Eddie, I'll get you soon about going live next week. And I will definitely see you guys tomorrow at Eddie and Jen's. I think it's like 3 p.m. Eastern, no, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think it's 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, he'll be live tomorrow, 1 p.m. Pacific, his time. So right around there, look for Eddie and Jen, and we will see you guys. Um,
You're still here? It's over. Go home.